Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Cater Khan. We're doing a kind of a challenge for ourselves. We've created an alpha character here. He was created about 2 days ago. I ran him through the tutorial, through all of the.
Connecting.
We'll go ahead and log him in, and through all of the basic missions, what you can get.
Skill training completed.
Queued him up. We used a link. The link will be in the description. It's going to get you 1,000,000 free skill points. That cuts off about 40 days of training. Really suggest you do that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get into what I've done with the character already. If you go through the agency, the agents, career agents. These are the career agents that are offered to you when you first start the game. Basically, once you get done the tutorial, it will guide you to this place. And these people are, or these agents are basically, they're offering you a path to get to a goal. And the goal for him is Enforcer. That's the kind of a person that's going to want to run missions or run some PvE all the time. The Producer, of course, producing. Industrial. The Explorer is the Explorer guy. I would suggest you do all of them. The reason I suggest you do all of them is because in the end you're going to end up with quite a few items, blueprints, and ships. Most importantly are the ships here in the end. See, we got an Executioner, we got a Coercer, which is the Destroyer, which is very important for us. We also have a hauling ship. It's not so important for what we're trying to do with this character. We have a Venture, also not the most important, but if that's your kind of style of play, is to go out and mining, that would be the first ship you want to go after if you're a miner or a producer. We also got a magnet. We're going to go into the magnet maybe in the next episode. This is a specialized ship for scanning and doing data and relic sites. So it's really good for scanning and doing those sites. We're going to get a build for that, like I said, in the next episode. That'll be another way to make some money. It's fairly passive. You got to watch. It's easier to get those sites on the server restarts because a lot of people go out and do them because they're very worthwhile. We also, during those missions, would get a second one of these. I brought it to Amar to sell because I was more interested in doing the missions that I wanted to do. Excuse me, not the Impair, the Sigil. Look very similar in their icons, but the Sigil, you get 2 of those to do those missions, and I brought it over to Amar, sold it. I ended up with total money. We can see my transactions at one point. I was up over almost 12 million. Came over and I purchased for my Punisher, which I fit up. I purchased basically this entire fit, and we're sitting at a pretty 113 DPS. It's dual armor reps, and as you can see, it is definitely not cap stable, but we're not worried about that. If we turn off our Microwarpdrive and we turn off one of these, we are cap stable. So the idea is we're just going to get in and do as much DPS as fast as possible. Only use the Microwarpdrive to travel around to scoop loot, and that's basically it. So with all the money that I had, my almost 12 million, I bought this entire fit. This fit will also be in the link in the video description, and this is basically how you, with your alpha character with your 1,000,000 SP, can go ahead and start making money basically from day one. Like literally, I played from, you can see there was 2 days and 2 hours ago I started the character basically, and the last thing that we got here, there's a bunch of skills that I trained for the last 2 days, but one day 21 hours ago, so basically 6 hours after I had started playing, I had stopped. I had the 12 million. I came over, I bought this, and trained up quite a few skills. We can look at the skills that I trained. Spaceship Command is basically, we pumped Amar Destroyer up to 3, we pumped the Frigate up to 4. It is now locked. We can't go past 4 because it will not allow you. I believe 4 is here. Amar Frigate 4. So we have Amar Frigate 3 right now. 4 is in the training queue. It's going to take 2 days to train. We might just bump that up today to see if that gives us some more, because we still have almost half of our free unallocated skill points. Armor, I bumped up quite a few things in armor because I really wanted to have T2 armor repairs. We can also throw these into the training queue eventually, and gunnery, we really wanted to go up with gunneries. It's very important to get the gunnery. You can just go straight to the skill plan under the enforcer, click on the Amar enforcer, and it basically I've completed all of them, but it will basically give you all that you need here. It's controlled bursts and cap, motion prediction. It's basically the best kind of a setup to start start off your jobs as being a guy that's gonna, or a person who's going to run abysses or missions. Soldier of Fortune is basically the exact same one. We see we've planned all of them. Here we go. It's all the ones that we've trained. So it was spaceship command, mechanics, navigation, gunnery, CPU management. You can add these yourself as soon as you log in and you start doing those missions, those starter missions like I said. You can find those under the agency, over here under career agents. And like I say, guys, do all of them. It is well worth it. I would suggest doing Soldier of Fortune first, getting it up to, every one of them has 10 missions. So you start at, mission 1 of 10. And I would suggest doing Soldier of Fortune first because there are some possibilities where you could technically mess up, because he wants you to specifically warp out and blow the ship up that you're in. So you're going to fight to the death with this guy on some of his missions. And if you mess up and you fit the stuff that you've already bought, or you think that you're doing good and you did the Enforcer first because you wanted to get your Punisher, and you fit your Punisher up to do a bunch of DPS, and then you take it to this guy and he gives you a Punisher and tells you to take it out, and you don't read the mission, you're going to lose your Punisher because he's telling you you're going to die out there. And once you get out there, you do get scrammed, and then there's no way for you to warp out, and then a bunch of other things warp in and kill you. And for you to lose anything that you've bought as an alpha character, it's going to be rough because you're just not going to have enough money to buy the stuff back. After that, I would suggest to do the Enforcer next. It's going to get you that Punisher at the end. Also, once you get to the Destroyer, I would go ahead and use the skill points that you get on mission 10 of 10 under Soldier of Fortune. He will give you the Destroyer before the mission. As soon as you accept it, the Destroyer is in your hangar. Use the skill points, skill up Destroyer, run to Amar real quick, or if you're in another faction, run to their trading post basically, and buy a decent fit, something that's going to get you up to around 100 DPS, and a small tank, because his level 10 mission is also no joke. They will warp scram you, they will web you, they will kill you if you are not fast enough to kill them. And after that, yeah, just do whatever one really is up your alley. I would suggest the Enforcer to get the Punisher first, and then go do the Explorer after that. The Industrial, they're gonna want you to have a ship. The ship you're going to get in the Explorer, you can just immediately turn it in. They will give you a blueprint copy to make the ship again if that's really the ship you want. It wasn't the ship I wanted. Like I said, I just wanted the Punisher and I wanted to get going. So that's what we're gonna do. We'll go ahead and close all this out. The next step we're gonna do is go down here, and we bought some Tranquil Firestorm abysses. With frigates, you have to have 3. These are not cheap if we start looking as alpha characters in our very limited budget that we just had. We can see that they are selling for, yeah, not very cheap anymore. And these are technically the cheapest ones, these Firestorms, out of all the Tranquils. So what we're going to try to do is make money with these. So we'll open our cargo here. We've got our ship fit, and we're going to warp out of Amar. I would not suggest doing these directly under the station or somewhere where a lot of people will find you. So what we'd like to do is, once we get out, we're going to warp somewhere random. Maybe even an asteroid belt, something just out in the middle of nowhere. Something a little bit further away would be good. We'll warp to this one within 100, and while we're warping, we're going to go up here to our Neocom menu. We're going to hit personal, people, and places, and during our warp, we're just going to hit add location. Doesn't matter what it's called, just submit it, and we'll do it one more time. We want to leave this forever, so that might have been a little bit too close as we're coming out of warp here, but I don't think so. And we're doing this basically to create a pocket in space that no one else can really find you. If they want to find you, they can, but it's going to take them some effort, and most people are not going to go through the effort just for a single T1 frigate. So we'll warp to this spot.
Warp drive active.
As you can see, I've got my layout here. I've changed some things up as to how I like them. I like knowing that my weapons are on F1. So once I've locked up the enemy, and we're going to change something here in our settings, we're going to make sure that auto target back is on for at least 3 targets. And we're going to return to the game. This is basically ensuring us that if we are within range to lock something, it will auto lock it up. It just makes it go a little bit quicker. And the other thing we need to do is form our own fleet. Can we form our own fleet from this? Yes. We have to be in our own fleet to activate these beacons, or these filaments, I should say. And it's primarily because later on, if you have friends that you're playing with, they can all go into the same beacon with you. So we'll just double click these, and we'll click activate. Is not compatible with your current ship. Oh yes, because we need to be in a frigate. And we are in a frigate, so we're going to activate it for the fleet. We'll go ahead and close all these down because we want to see what we're doing. And yeah, so primarily we're just going to jump right in. We can right click that and make sure that it's on our overview. Add filament trace to overview. Makes it a little bit easier because a lot of times it is activated right on top of your ship. We'll go ahead and activate. Click activate again. It's going to jump us in. And this is the first time I'm going in with this ship, with this setup, guys. I've done it on my main. My main has so many more levels of experience and whatnot, but it's basically going to be the same. This character has quite a bit less experience points, of course, and we'll just see how it goes. So what I'd like to do is just click on that. We'll click on the bio cache itself. You can see that our locking range is really terrible, so it might be one of the things we have to work on, and we can check what our range is, and we'll go ahead and activate our lasers. Might be that we're having some tracking issues, and if we're having tracking issues, we'll just go ahead and slow it down a little. By turning off our Microwarpdrive, we'll turn on one of these armor reppers. So we are taking a bit of damage. What am I talking about? That's shield. We don't care about shield. And basically this is what we're going to do. We're going to orbit this, shoot these guys. And when we start taking armor damage, we'll go ahead and start repairing that. We do have double reppers. Like you see, now we're taking a little bit of armor damage. We'll turn this on, see what happens. And if things get a little hairy, it's fine. This, like I say, this is literally our T1, our first chance to go in here. And yeah, the first guy died pretty quick. Right now we're currently stable. Good. Not taking too much damage. We go ahead and lock up the cache. So that noise was that our capacitor is getting a little low. Even though we're stable, it's pushing it to the limit of what is possibly stable. If you go below 33%, it is like a diminishing return kind of a thing. 33% is the best you can possibly get it at, which means your cap is recharging as hard as it could possibly do. Once you go past 33%, you're going to start getting diminishing returns, which means it's not going to be recharging fast enough, which could actually throw you into being unstable, and then it's kind of a downward spiral after that. So if you hear it make that noise, usually I just go ahead and turn it off once for one cycle, check it to make sure it's not really going bad, and then turn it back on if you have to. So now we'll just go ahead and jump into the next room. There's always 3 rooms in these abysses. There's different types of enemies that come in the lower tiers. There are usually not that many different types of enemies. So in these T0s, you'll see a lot of what we just fought as 1, 2, or even 3 at the most. And I didn't even scoop the loot. Wow. Did I? Yeah, I did. So that's the loot we got, guys. So we can go ahead and say that that's bank. That's basically we made money already. So we do the same thing here. We're going to click on that. We're going to orbit it, pop our prop mod at least once, maybe twice to get down there. Continuously try to lock this guy until we actually lock him. Once he's in range, we'll start putting damage on him. And our range is not the greatest. Well, you can see that was a pretty good hit on him for the first shot. The next shot, he's kind of out of range, so we'll turn off the prop mod so he can come back to us. Generally, in these T0s, they like to orbit you inside your ranges, so you don't really have to worry about what their ranges is. This guy has a lot of armor resist. You can always just open up this information panel and check. You can see that his armor is resistant to EM, and I think we're doing a lot of EM damage. And look, I forgot to turn on my repper, guys, so we're going to take some damage here. We'll go ahead and prop the second one just to get us back up. Watching our cap. If our cap starts going too low, I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. This guy has a lot of EM resistance. Our build is doing a lot of EM damage, so he's resisting a lot of what we're shooting at him right now. Might have been better to bring something that did some explosion damage, but fortunately this build isn't really set up that way. So now you can see we're getting close to being really screwed here, guys. I put myself a little cap unstable. We'll turn this off for a second. This guy's going down anyway. So this is kind of flying with the seat of my pants on this build. I wasn't really expecting it to do not that well. I was expecting it to do just a little bit better with the DPS we're putting out. But as you can see, we're making good time. So the other thing we need to talk about is there is a 20-minute timer on all of these abysses. If you're in a ship that flies very slow and you go up into the higher tiers, there's going to be a lot more of these caches that you need to go collect, or want to go collect, of course. You just won't have the time to fly 80 kilometers one direction, 80 kilometers back, and then 80 kilometers to the exit gate, and kind of in the back of your head remember that you only got 6 minutes in each room. And a lot of the times the last room is going to be a little bit harder than the first 2 rooms. Not all the time. I've had some times with my Omega clone main character that the first 2 rooms were terrible. I got some really tanky bosses in the first room, and then in the second room, like the tankiest boss in the second room, and I was really starting to worry that I wasn't going to make it out. I only had like 5 minutes when I jumped into the third room, and luckily I got one of the easiest third rooms and breezed right through it. Because at the end of these 20 minutes, guys, the whole thing collapses. Your ship is gone, your cap is gone. If you're running expensive implants, they're gone. Everything is just dead. So we'll go ahead and jump into this third room. And we'll do the exact same thing like always. We're going to approach and orbit the cache. This is actually a bad idea to do if you are in some higher tiers. That's kind of actually a bad habit I have, is to approach these caches and orbit them. I do it in the lower tiers because it's not that bad, but Some of the later ones, there'll be NPCs down here, and if you're approaching them straight on, because a lot of it has to do with your approach angle, as far as the enemy, it's kind of like they say flying under their guns, because there is a way that you can get under the enemy's guns tracking, and they can't shoot you. And if you're approaching straight at the enemy, like, it's basically like you're approaching a battleship when it's set broadside and all of its guns are aimed straight at you. They're going to hit you, and it's going to do a lot of damage. So you can see we're taking some damage here, guys. I'm going to pop this mod. I forgot to pop my prop mod to get down here fast, but that's fine, because these guys are fast. They jump all over me. Now that the first one's down, the incoming damage should be pretty much taken care of by one armor rep. We can go ahead and lock up the cache. And yeah, like I say, guys, wrecking shots. You're approaching something head on. Basically, like this guy right now, he's orbiting me, so my guns have to have decent tracking to shoot him. But there's other ways to basically trick the NPC into coming in. Like if you're having a really hard time shooting something, you can fly in a straight line and pop your prop mod once to get them to start following you. And when they're following you, your guns have to do a lot less tracking, and you'll get a lot more hits that way, instead of them orbiting you or you orbiting them, because then that's two specific arcs that are going on. You're circling them, they're circling you in a different direction. Your guns are having a hard time tracking. There is, you can see in the information what the tracking speed is. Go ahead and scoop this loot once it pops open. So look, guys, we had nothing in our cargo hold before, and we are up to 2 million. So I went from almost having 12 million, buying all the stuff for this fit, and in my first run I've got 2,250,000, and look, we've got 3 tranquil exotics, so I don't even have to go buy any filaments. I can literally go warp to another safe spot, maybe drop off loot first, warp to a safe spot, bring these with me, and run these immediately. And that's probably what I'm going to do. We'll hit our prop mod, go over here to the exit gate, we'll get out, and yeah, that's pure money right there, guys. I spent, let's see, how much did I spend to buy those? I believe, it doesn't say. Doesn't tell me what they were, but I believe that was that there. So I might have spent around 1 million, but I actually think it was this one. So it wasn't even 300,000 to buy those 3, and we've made 2,250,000 out of it. These themselves cost 281 million estimate value. So we're going to go ahead and run those, and we're just going to keep making a profit this way. I will turn on the recording if anything crazy is happening, like I'm failing really miserably. But other than that, guys, I will just dock up, and I'll come back maybe after an hour. The server's going to go down, I believe, in an hour, so I'll come back maybe right before the cluster shut down and show you how much I've made.
Warp drive.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We just finished our last one. It's about time for the server to restart. I do believe they said it's yeah, 8 minutes. It's initiated. So we're gonna go ahead and dock up. But there's a few things we're gonna talk about. This fit that we've got going on can probably run all T0s. The one that I would be a little worried about are these darks. The reason I would be worried about darks is this abyssal environment. The dark matter field, let's take a look. Ships in this environment receive a bonus to maximum velocity and a penalty to turret range. We're already flying something that our range is really non-existent. Like, we're gotta be on top, 6,000. So if we're gonna take another penalty to that, it's basically we're gonna have to be orbiting them at 500, and it's almost impossible to get them into our optimal range at that point. That might be something we can look at after we swap our guns out, maybe get our fitting skills up a little bit better, and maybe swap to pulse lasers instead of the beam lasers, because that'll give us a touch more range. But let's go ahead and dump our loot here. I ended up getting to run, that was the 4th run. Oh, what am I doing? I'm dropping my own cargo into my own cargo. That's never going to help. Let's drop it into the item hangar, and let's stack it first. And remember, the only thing in here were these, and these are 16,000 ISK. You saw down there, 16,000. So, little over a half an hour, I mean, and we're sitting at almost 10 million. So basically, the ships fit. This entire fit that I have here, we'll see, 9.2 million. It's paid for. It's literally paid for at this point. The entire fit. And the cool thing about Amar is that these energy crystals, as they are Tech 1s, will never burn up. So we don't have to worry about ammo costs. This is just pure profit at this point. And look, we've got 5 gammas, we've got 3 firestorms, so that's a run there. That's a run there. Almost a second run on the gammas. The electrical, we have 2, and if an electrical drops in either of these 2, we'll have a run there. And the only one I'm really concerned about is that dark, and we're not quite ready to do T1s yet. I think we'll swap to a cruiser to do T1s, which means we're going to have a lot of training to do. So there's going to be a lot of abyss runs in between, guys. But like I say, we are on our way to make a profit now. Our next step after we make this little bit of profit is we're going to fit our destroyer up and go on an epic arc. I don't know how that's going to go with the videos. There's a lot of running back and forth between systems and here and there, but it's going to get us, I believe, even on a starter character, unlocked T2 missions for whatever faction you choose, be it Amar, Galante, Caldari, or Mimnitar. So yeah, the other thing we wanted to talk about with these abysses is there's a specific NPC called a devoted hunter. He is a touch faster than I am right now. So without my propulsion mod on, he is just a touch faster. And he likes to keep me just outside of my fall off range. He does a ton of damage if you are following him like that, so you need to be extremely careful. You have probably just enough cap with both of your armor reps running if you get him within range. I use my prop mod. I get him completely inside my optimal. I kill my prop mod and let him start kiting me. And I keep my guns on, but I really watch my cap and my armor reps to make sure that I can take him down. If you make a mistake there, guys, it could be that he takes you out. And then you lose your profit. You lose what's in your cargo hold. You lose the ship. You have to replace it all. And right now we don't have a replacement for our Punisher. So we'll let this cluster shut down. We'll go ahead and end this movie here. And the next time we come back, guys, I'll probably have run quite a few more of these. I'll let you know what my progress was, what my ISK is. We can take a look here. My wallet balance currently is very poor. We're at 294,000. Once we sell this, we'll have 9 million probably. It's going to be a problem selling some of these. What we're going to sell for sure is this, and these surveys. We'll talk about the surveys as well real quick as the server's shutting down. If you take a look at the market here, we can see that there's quite a few sellers, there's quite a few buyers. The buyers, these buyers that are exactly 100,000 ISK, these are the NPC buy orders. They will not change. That is where we are printing ISK, guys. That is where we're going to make our most money, is by selling these Triglavian survey databases. Specifically because other people will try to buy them, and you can't sell them in Jita, you can't sell them here or there. You can sell them to somebody who's going to try to make a profit on you. So this guy wants to buy them here in the station for 90,400, and he is basically going to take them and jump 3 jumps away and sell them and make 10,000 ISK per. And if he's got really good sell skills, so he's got his tax and all that down, then he's going to make a profit on you being lazy just selling them in Amar or in Jita or whatever trade hub you're in, and he's going to take them out and sell them. So we can that's what we're going to do when we get back, or at least I'm going to do. I'm going to run them out here to this Mammon Kanar, and I'm going to sell them for full price and get my money's worth. The rest of the stuff, you just kind of got to wing it. So we'll say, even if all these are pure profit, I'm going to say right now, these are the only 3 we're going to sell. And these 3 are only 8 million. So yeah, even though I showed you, if I lose the ship and blah, 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 I've basically bought my fit back. These are the only 3 I'm going to sell. The rest I'm going to try to keep and make a further profit on. Eventually we're going to be able to run these Tranquil Darks, and eventually we'll be able to run these tier 1 filaments. So guys, starter, alpha clone, got his ship, ran his the starter missions, which I consider to be these starter missions here, the career agents. I ran all of them, got ships, got around 11 million, fit my first ship, and I'm running basically all of the Tranquil filaments except for darks. And we're making profit right now, guys. This is literally a 7-hour played character. Of course, we have the million skill points from the link, but that's it. It's an easy alpha clone money making character. So we'll go ahead and, we lost connection. We'll go ahead and hit quit, and we'll pause there. We'll end the video here, and like I said, the next time we get back, we'll be in Amar with our destroyer. We'll be buying a fit for that, and we'll be heading out to do the Sisters of Eve epic arc to try to get some standings with Amar to further benefit us in our ISK making endeavors by running missions eventually. So I'll catch you next time.